much do you love me, Daddy? Illustrated by Sarah Ward. Do you love me, Daddy? Absolutely I do. How much? My love for you is so big. Is it bigger than our house? Yes, it is bigger than our house. Do you love me, Daddy? Positively I do. How much? My love for you is so big. Is it bigger than a building? Yes, it is bigger than the tallest building. Do you love me, Daddy? Really I do. How much? My love for you is so big. Is it bigger than the ocean? Yes, it is bigger than the deepest ocean. Do you love me, Daddy? Truly I do. How much? My love for you is so big. Is it bigger than a cloud? Yes, it is bigger than the fluffiest cloud. Do you love me, Daddy? Completely I do. How much? My love for you is so big. Is it bigger than a planet? Yes, it is bigger than the largest planet. You must absolutely, positively, really, truly, completely love me, Daddy. And my love for you grows bigger every day. I hope you'll join me for another story. Hugs and kisses. Daddy loves me. Daddy and I planned a camping trip, and I can hardly wait for it. He always makes me feel so good. He rakes the leaves. I pick up wood. When I hammer in the stakes, he says to me, "You're doing great." Daddy reads by lantern light. I snuggle in and say good night. I hope you'll join me for another story. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Illustrated by Gavin Scott. One day, Goldilocks was walking in the woods. Yum! She could smell something tasty. It was coming from the little house. "Who lives here?" said Goldilocks. Goldilocks knocked on the door, but there was no reply. Goldilocks pushed the door. It swung open, but there was no one there. Goldilocks stepped inside. There were 3 bowls of hot porridge on the table. The tasty smell was making Goldilocks feel hungry. She tasted the big bowl of porridge. It was too salty. Next, she tasted the middle-sized bowl of porridge. It was too sweet. Finally, she tasted the little bowl of porridge. It was just right. Goldilocks ate it all up. Goldilocks needed to sit down after all that yummy porridge. She sat on the big chair. It was too high. She sat in the middle-sized chair. It was too low. She sat on the little chair. Oh no! Goldilocks broke the little chair. Goldilocks crept upstairs. There were 3 beds. She tried the big bed. It was too hard. She tried the middle-sized bed. It was too soft. She tried the little bed. It was just right. Goldilocks took a nap. But while Goldilocks was asleep, 3 hungry bears came back to the house. They were looking forward to eating their porridge. The 3 bears looked at their bowls of porridge. "Who's been eating my porridge?" roared Daddy Bear. "Who's been eating my porridge?" growled Mummy Bear. "Who's eaten my porridge all up?" squeaked Baby Bear. "What will I eat?" cried Baby Bear. He was so sad. "Who's been sitting in my chair?" roared Daddy Bear. "Who's been sitting in my chair?" growled Mummy Bear. "Who's been sitting in my chair and broken it?" squeaked Baby Bear. "Where will I sit?" said Baby Bear. "Who's been sleeping in my bed?" roared Daddy Bear. "Who's been sleeping in my bed?" growled Mummy Bear. "Who is in my bed?" said Baby Bear. Suddenly, Goldilocks woke up and saw 3 bears. She jumped up and ran away, and the 3 bears never saw her again. She ran as fast as she could all the way home. Hey, it's puzzle time! Which 2 words rhyme? Sit, sad, not, run, hot. Not and hot. Which word does not match the picture? Bowl, porridge, or chair? Chair. Which word matches the picture? Bear, wear, or pear? Bear. Who breaks the chair? Goldilocks, Daddy Bear, or Baby Bear? Goldilocks. Which sentence is right? This bed was just right. This bed was not right. This bed was just right. I hope you'll join me for another story. The Ugly Duckling, illustrated by Polona Lovsin. One day, 6 fluffy yellow ducklings hatched from their eggs. Mother Duck was very happy. Chip, chip, the ducklings called to their mother. There was one big egg left in the nest. At last, the big egg cracked open. Out popped a funny grey duckling with big black feet and a big black beak. The other ducks crowded around to look with Mother Duck. It does not look like a duckling, they said. Mother Duck gathered her fluffy yellow ducklings and her funny grey duckling. Follow me, she said. She led them through the farmyard. All the animals stopped to stare at the funny grey duckling. The animals made fun of him. Aww. When they got to the pond, Mother Duck and the little ducklings all swam off. The funny grey duckling was left behind. Go away, said the goose. You are ugly. You are not one of us, she said. The funny grey duckling went back to the barn. But the fluffy yellow ducklings wouldn't play with him. Go away, they said. You are not like us. You don't belong here. The little duckling was very sad. He ran away. The funny grey duckling walked for miles until he came to a cottage. A little old woman gave him some corn and milk. Go away, said the hen. You are eating all the grain. Go away, said the cat. You are drinking all my milk. And don't come back, said the cat and the hen. The funny grey duckling went back to the pond. But winter was coming and the pond was turning to ice. The funny grey duckling was cold and hungry. He saw some fine swans fly over the pond. I wish I could fly up in the sky with the swans, he thought. The swans did not see him. They flew far away. At last, the winter turned to spring. The ducklings came back down to the pond, but they had grown up now. Now they were ducks. They saw the ugly grey duckling, but he had grown up too. He was not a duck at all. If I am not a duck, what am I? He asked. Then he looked down into the water and saw his reflection. I look just like a fine swan, he said, surprised. I am a swan, he shouted with joy. Just then the fine swans flew over and landed on the pond. Hello, said one of the swans. Do you want to come with us? He was so happy. Now he could fly away with the other swans. All right, it's puzzle time. Which 2 words rhyme? Sad, can, fun, run, far. It's fun and run because they both sound the same at the end. Which word does not match the picture? Black, green, grey. Green does not match. There's no green here. Which words match the picture? Swan, swim, or swap? Swan. Who runs away? Is it a duckling, a hen, or a cat? That's right, it's a duckling. Which sentence is right? I wish I could fly. I wish I was a fly. I wish I could fly. I hope you'll join me for another story. Hi friends! Let's read this book together. It's the Aussie Alphabet. Tongue twist your way from A to Z. Emily Murray and Rebecca Mills. G'day! I'm Crikey the Croc. I love the alphabet, so I hope it's okay if I come with you as you read this Bonza book and learn your Aussie ABC. See if you can spot me in every picture. Okay, that sounds like a challenge. Let's go. A. Early ant watches Aussie rules. Players eat apples in Adelaide. And where's that Crikey Croc? Can you see him hiding anywhere? There he is! B. Beside the billabong, Bazza the bilby boils a billy can. There's Bazza the bilby, and there are two budgies. And there's the croc, fast asleep in the tent. Coral the cockatoo takes a catch in Kookaburra. There's Coral the cockatoo, and there's the croc. D. Darwin Dingo and his daughter devour Damper down under. These are the dingoes, and Damper is bread. And there's the croc. Edna Emu and Ernie Echidna eat at Edamoga. There's the echidna, and there's the emu. And there's the crocodile. Oh, I almost missed him. Fitzroy feasts on fairy bread in his Filano. Now, we've got a few things to unpack here. Fairy bread is this. So it's bread with butter and hundreds of thousands and sprinkles. And this is a frilled neck lizard. And this is a flannelette shirt, which is what we call a flano. And there's the croc. And there's a fruit bat. And there's a fairy penguin. Goldie Goanna gazes at the glory of the Great Barrier Reef. Wow, there's a goanna, which is also a lizard. And she's in the Great Barrier Reef. And there is Mr. Croc. He's in fresh water. Or is it salty water? He's in some water. H. Holden Hawk thinks hiking is hard yakka. So here's the hawk. And he's hiking. And there's the croc. And hard yakka is what we call hard work. I. Ian the ibis eats an irresistible ice cream at Indooroopilly. So this is an ibis. We also call them bin chickens. That's their proper name is ibis. And he's eating an ice cream. And look at this thing here. This is a biscuit. And in Australia, we call that an iced Vovo. And there is the croc. He wants to lick some of that ice cream that melted. Cheeky. J. Jarrah the Joey wants to be a Jillaroo. Okay, so here's Jarrah the Joey, And a joey is a baby kangaroo. And a jillaroo is like a cowboy. And there's Croc. K. After climbing Mount Kosciuszko, Kelly Koala watches the Kookaburras. So, here is Kelly Koala, and look, she's wearing a shirt with kangaroos on them. And these birds here are called Kookaburra, and she's sitting on the top of Mount Kosciuszko. Now, kookaburras have a very distinct call. They go, "Koo-koo-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka." And according to urban legend, they call like that when it's about to rain. Now, where's Croc? I can just see his little tail right there. Lorna the lifeguard likes licking lamingtons. Okay, so here's Lorna. She's a sea lion. And this is a lamington here. So it's a cake with jam on the inside. And just on the outside is chocolate dipped in coconut. And it's so yummy. And there is the crocodile. Over here, M. Mates Mozzie and Mick munch meat pies at the MCG. Okay, so we've got two magpies here. That's the name of the bird. They're called magpies. These are meat pies, which is exactly what it is. It's a yummy pastry pie with meat inside. And they're at the MCG, which stands for Melbourne Cricket Ground. Ned the Numbat's nippers gnaw on nectarines in Noosa. Oh, wait a second. We didn't see the Croc in the last picture, did we? Let's go back. Oopsie daisy. There he is. Oh, see that? He hid from me so well I didn't even see him. There he is. All right. So over here, Numbats. These animals are called Numbats. And nippers means children, babies. So Ned, the Numbat's nippers, kids, gnaw, obviously eat, on nectarines in Noosa. So these are fruit called nectarines, and they're in Noosa, which is a lovely northern warm climate town. And there is Croc. Now come over here. Oh, Opal Octopus is travelling from the Opera House to the outback. Okay, so this is an octopus, and octopus have 8 legs. So let's go ahead and count the legs first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, Opal looks like a blue-ringed octopus, which is a little bit dangerous because if you get stung by one, you'll get very sick. So don't touch. Now, she's travelling from the Opera House to the outback. So here's the Opera House here. That's in Sydney on the east coast. And you can see she's got a map. And she's going to the outback, which is what we call the bush, the scrub. Isolated, faraway places. And it's interesting that her name is Opal. Because did you know that opal is Australia's native gem? That's right. And look at this Croc here. He's good at hiding, but I can still find him. P. Pearl the platypus perfects a pineapple-topped pav. Okay, so here's Pearl the platypus, and coincidentally she's wearing a pearl necklace. There's Croc in the background. There's a pineapple on top of a pav, and pav is short for pavlova, and that is a yummy Australian traditional dessert. I can't even explain to you how delicious it is. You just have to try it yourself, but it's yummy. Over here, Q. Quinton Quokka feels queasy on his trip to Queensland. So these two animals here are called quokkas. And they're reading a book called Quickeishas, which is I love that because we're on cue. So he's feeling queasy, which means he's feeling a little bit sick on his trip to Queensland, which is, again, up north, beautiful part of the country. I hope he feels better soon. And there's Croc. Croc just looks like he's listening to some music. Ah, Ray Lee Rosella and Ron Redback take a ripper road trip to the Red Centre. Okay, so Rayleigh, this is a Rosella. And her name is Rayleigh, but that's a Rosella. It's a red, beautiful parrot bird. Gorgeous. And Ron the Redback, oh, this is a spider. They're not that big in real life, but they are quite scary. And you can see he's got red back. And this is another very, very dangerous Australian animal or insect. Do never touch that. There's Croc. I think he's going to try to hitchhike. They're taking a ripper road trip, and ripper means great, fun, awesome. And they're going to the Red Centre, which is Ayers Rock or Uluru. And there it is right there. It's right in the middle of the country. Lots of people go to see it. S. Shazza sheepdog snacks on a snag as she skydives into Sydney. Okay, Shazza, that's what we call Sharon. Shazza. She's a sheepdog, which is a herding dog, and she's snacking on a snag, and that's a snag there. That's what we call sausages. We call them snags. And she's skydiving into Sydney, and you can tell it's Sydney because there's the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and there's the Sydney Opera House. And right down there is Mr. Croc waving from a boat. Hello! Over here, we've got Thorpe Turtle tucks into his tasty true blue tucker. Wowzers. Okay. This is a turtle, and he's tucking in, which means he's getting into it, really enjoying it. And he is eating true blue tucker. True blue means 100% genuine, and tucker means food. And if you can see here, these are called Tim Tams. They're a very, very famous and very well-loved biscuit in Australia. Tim Tam or cookie. And you can see that Thorpe is wearing thongs. This is what we call these shoes, thongs. Goodness gracious. And there's Croc. I think Croc wants a Tim Tam too. Tim Tams are yummy. You beauty, utters Ursula, the Ulysses butterfly. Cool. So, Ursula is a Ulysses butterfly. Isn't she so pretty? She's rare and blue and lovely. And it looks like, is it a fly or a bee? I'm not sure. Could be a hybrid. Probably not. Maybe a bee. They're hanging out on the back of a ute, which is what we call, well, this is what this is, a ute. In other places, you could call it a pickup truck, a flatbed truck, or just a truck. We call it a ute, which is short for utility. And they are looking at Ayers Rock with Uluru and all the kangaroos and a beautiful starry night. Over here, oh, where's Croc? Where? Oh, there he is. Oh, there's Croc. Phew! V. Violet eats veggies on her veranda in a Victorian valley. Okay, so here's Violet. Violet looks like what do you look like? You look like a possum, actually, Violet. Violet's eating veggies, which is short for vegetables. And she's sitting on her veranda, which is what we call a back patio, or what's another word for veranda? I guess a patio. Yeah, we'll go with patio. And it's outside of the house. So, and it's under an awning. It's covered in. And this here, you may have heard of it. It's called Vegemite. It's a very, very strong spread that you can put on your toast or sandwiches. It's quite yummy, but you only need a tiny little bit. And look, it looks like Violet has a violin. Wow, she's clever. And there's Croc in a picture. Cooey! That's how we call out. Instead of saying hey or yoo-hoo, we yell out cooey! And then sometimes it echoes. And that's our Australian call. W. Wyatt and a Wagga wonder whether Wally will hear their cooeys in Woolloomooloo. So there's a wombat and there's a kangaroo and they're yelling out cooey. And there is Croc. And there's a snake. X. Christmas in Xantippe is extra special. Look at all these animals. It's Christmas time, and in Australia, Christmas time is a hot time of year. In other parts of the world, it's cold and snowing and raining, but in Australia, woo, it's so hot. And you can see a crocodile on Koala's t-shirt. And you can also see these animals are playing cricket. And this animal, who is an echidna, is using the barbecue. This is what we call a barbecue. Some people call it a grill, but we call it barbecue. And echidna is cooking sausages or snags. Why? Yarra yak, yapped and yarned for yonks on the way to Yass. Cool. Okay, so this is a yak, and he yapped and yarned. Yap and yarn means talked and talked and talked and talked. He yapped and yarned for yonks, and yonks means for a long time. And they went to Yass, which is a place in New South Wales, actually, which is where I'm from, New South Wales. So here is the crocodile sitting in the back. And look, coincidentally, there's a yo-yo there. And a yin-yang sign hanging from the rearview mirror. This is just such a funny book, isn't it? Oh, and Z. We're at the end of the alphabet. Dazza, the Tassie devil, snoozes after finishing his book. So there's the croc. And this is Dazza. He is a Tassie devil or Tasmanian devil. And he looks very sweet when he's asleep, but don't touch them because they're very ferocious when they're cranky. And look, he's finished reading this book. And guess what? We finished reading it too. Thanks for hanging out with me and learning the Aussie alphabet. I hope to see you very soon for another story. Vehicles. Hide and seek pop-ups with 5 pop-up surprises. Bear, can you hear a choo-choo chugging all around? Choo-choo. Let's peek inside the tunnel and follow that sound. Wow! It's a train! Choo-choo! Wow! Bear, can you hear a whir whir up in the sky? Whir! Let's look behind that cloud and see what you can spy. Whir! Wow! It's a helicopter! Wow! Bear, can you hear a honk honk way out in the sea? Honk honk! Let's look behind the rock to see what it could be. It's a boat! Honk honk! Honk honk! Bear, can you hear a chug chug over the field? Let's roll away the hay bales and see what is revealed. Chug chug! It's a tractor! Chug chug! Look, and Mr. Chicken, Mr. Rooster is driving the tractor. Ha! All the noisy vehicles are here, but where is our friend Bear? Can you hear a beep beep coming from over there? Beep beep! Beep beep! It's Bear! Hello Bear! He's in a car! Beep beep! I hope you'll join me for another story! A celebration of fatherhood. Happy Father's Day! Tim Miller and Matt Stanton. My friends sit in a circle, telling stories that disgust. Tales of our dad's behaviour, smelly farts that might combust. Jen's dad waves his hands around, the conductor of a symphony. He blows trouser trumpets and his bum toots the melody. Oh my goodness. Jack's dad is the god of under thunder. On dark and stormy nights, the sky cracks open with a boom and gives everyone a fright. While Nat's dad watches footy, he lets off mighty stinky bombs. They drift onto the field and make the cheerleaders drop their pom-poms. Oh my goodness. Amanda's dad loves water slides. He races her all the time, then releases his jet-fueled farts to propel him across the line. Goodness! Zach's dad is the sports coach, a one-time elite performer. Now he only lifts one leg as he releases a bench warmer. And look, this person's fallen off the bench because of the stinky fart. Wow. When Liam visited his nan in a town called Dinawoo, his dad let one slip and now people drive straight through. Must have been a very stinky fart. Brett's father is a supervillain. His fart's an evil crime. No hero can survive them. It's explosions every time. My goodness! All these smelly farts. When Ethan's dad gets in the pool, he does a belly flop. The water turns a murky green as the bubbles rise and pop. Ah! Goodness, look at these people running. because he's stinky in the pool. Sam's dad does bottom blowouts that cause the ground to shake. He's last reached 9 on the Richter scale. The neighbours screamed, "Earthquake!" That's a very powerful fart. Dear me. Finally, it's my turn. I want to make Dad proud. Do I tell him about the theme park when he ponged that great big crowd? Look, these 2 people have run away because this guy's stinky farts. A smile spreads across my face. My fart is silent and slow. Then suddenly my friends start gagging. Dad taught me all he knows. I hope you'll join me for another story. Hi friends, let's read this book together. Baby's First Bedtime. You can see an owl on here. Hoo hoo. That owl looks very sleepy. Here are some pillows. You can put your head on that when you go to bed and it's nice and comfy. Here's a baby. The baby is waving and the baby is very happy. Here is a sleep suit or pajamas. That's what we wear to sleep in and go to bed. Here is a bottle. Sometimes when you want to go to sleep, a nice warm bottle will be really yummy in the tummy and you can just fall to sleep. Here's a bed. When you're a big boy or big girl, you can sleep in your own bed. How fun! Here are some books, because it's very nice to listen to a story as you're falling asleep in your bed. Here's a towel. We use a towel to get dry after we go swimming or we have a bath. And here's a very happy baby in a bath. And who is in the bath with the baby? It's a rubber ducky. Quack, quack. Here is a clock. It helps us tell what time it is. And when it's very dark outside, the clock can tell us it's bedtime. Here's a mobile. Sometimes this hangs from the ceiling and you can look at it when you're in bed and you can just look at all the pretty stars and moon and go to sleep. Here's a blanket. That will keep you nice, safe and warm when you're sleeping. Oh, so cozy and snuggly. Here's a star. Beautiful bright stars light up the night sky. And if you look at them, you can make a wish. Wow. Here's a teddy bear. Teddy doesn't like to sleep alone, so cuddle up with Teddy and have sweet dreams together. Here's the moon. The moon is always in the night sky. It watches over you while you sleep. Here's a rocking chair. This is a very comfy chair that you and your mum or your dad can sit in and rock very peacefully and help you go to sleep. And here's a potty. That's when you're a big boy or girl and you don't need nappies anymore. You can do your wees and your poos in a potty and no more nappies. Here's a soft toy. It's a bunny rabbit. Hi, bunny. You look very sweet. And here's a robe. You can wear that after you've had a bath to keep nice and warm, or you can wear it when you get out of bed and you're going to stay up for a while before you get dressed. Robes are nice and fluffy and warm. Here's a rattle. This is a nice toy that makes a really fun sound. You can shake it. And here are socks. They keep your feet warm because it's not very nice to have cold feet. These socks are blue and they've got stripes. This is a lamp. It's not as bright as the normal lights. You can put it on your bedside table and it's very low light and it helps you to fall asleep. And here is a cradle. That's what babies sleep in before they get a big bed. And that's nice and comfy and cozy and safe. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have sweet dreams. And I'll see you for another story. Daddy's embarrassing exploding farty shorts. An awful true story. Ed and Arnold Cavalier. Illustrated by Jack Lawrence. Wow, look at all these shorts. I bet there's lots of farties in those. Warning! Some readers may find this true story about Daddy and his farty shorts extremely distressing. It involves big smells, farty faces, and the embarrassing, untimely demise of Daddy's embarrassing shorts. In fact, the story is so embarrassing, we can't show you Daddy's real face. We have made him an elephant. Turn the page for the whole awful story, based on eyewitness recordings which still exist, by me, Arnold, 4 years old. One day, Daddy farted in his shorts. Hey, shh! It wasn't quite like that. And it's not like his shorts farting business happens often, does it? All the time! Farting when he's brushing his teeth, farting when he's gardening, farting when he's riding a bike, farting when he's going shopping. We're not even really sure that's what it was. I always blame those noises on a low-flying duck. But Arnie heard them, and Daddy's pants, they smelled so smelly. So the shorts get thrown in the bin. And that's the end of the story. Nothing to see here. Absolutely nothing else happened after that. Daddy farted in his shorts again. It wasn't me. Do you know what you call someone who farted in their shorts? On a high-protein diet? Poopy pants. That's more catchy. Or Mr. Pop Fizz. So everyone called Daddy Mr. Pop Fizz. Really? Everywhere he went, they called Daddy Mr. Pop Fizz. Hey, it's Mr. Pop Fizz. Hi, Mr. Pop Fizz. Morning, Mr. Pop Fizz. Did they? That is a bit embarrassing. Because of Daddy, everybody started farting. They tried, but they couldn't stop. Ellie the elephant farted on her trunk. Padme the ginger pussycat farted on Brucey the blue puppy dog. Brucey then started farting. They had a farty face all over, but Daddy was the fartiest one. I'm sure he wasn't the fartiest one, and it's not like anything bad happens after a farty face. More shorts in the bin. Oh dear. He's ruining all these shorts because he's farting on them. Now Daddy has no shorts left. He was confused. It's a poppy mystery. Yes, it is a poppy mystery. What happened to all the shorts? Mummy threw them all away. Look, in the garbage truck. Mummy threw them all away because they were so stinky. The bin exploded from the farty shorts. Take cover. It's a fart explosion. Daddy had to wear fancy dress costumes to work. See, he's wearing a Frankenstein costume and a chicken costume and a pumpkin costume. Okay, we can probably end here. We don't really need to hear the rest of the story. Daddy had nothing to wear, so Daddy wore a barrel to Taekwondo. He was so embarrassed. There he is wearing a barrel. And look at all these young ones learning Taekwondo. He promised to stop all the farting. I promised to stop all the farting. And the duck says, me too. Then everyone stopped farting. And they did normal life stuff again. The end. Fart! That was me. Oh no. I hope you'll join me for another story. Hi friends. Let's read a book. Kookaburra Sits in the Old Gum Tree. Marion Sinclair, illustrated by Matt Shanks. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Looks like he's having a sleep in the gum tree. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. He's got a crown because he is the king of the bush, the kookaburra. And there's a magpie up here, another bird, and another bird called a galah, and that is a possum. Laugh, kookaburra, laugh, kookaburra, gay your life must be. There's an echidna, two echidnas, a koala, a platypus, there's a possum, magpie, a rosella parrot, a galah, and there is the kookaburra. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Look at this bird, he's throwing lollies down to the kookaburra. But look at this little worm. That's what the kookaburra really wants to eat. Eating all the gumdrops he can see. Oh, look at all these gumdrops. And look, here's a magpie bringing more gumdrops. Stop, Kookaburra! Stop, Kookaburra! Why do you think they're saying to stop? Do you think too many lollies or too many gumdrops is going to upset his little belly? Maybe that's why they're saying stop. Oh, leave some there for me. Oh, they were just worried that they wouldn't get any lollies or gumdrops. And as you can see, look at this Kookaburra. He just wants to eat the wormies. That's what he would prefer to eat. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, counting all the monkeys he can see. Hey, would you like to count some monkeys with me? They're not up in the sky, but they are definitely drawn on this rock. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 monkeys. What other animals can we see? There's a snakey. And there's a goanna lizard. And here's another big frilled neck lizard. And this looks like a baby crocodile having a little sleep. And there, of course, is the Kookaburra. Stop, Kookaburra! Stop, Kookaburra! That's no monkey, that's me! Look, Kookaburra's sitting on that little girl's head. And look at this other little girl and the snakey and the lizard, they're all pointing. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, Kookaburra. Laugh, Kookaburra. Gay your life must be. So now we've got the goanna lizard. It's wearing the crown. It must have fallen off Kookaburra's head. We've got a koala in a tree having a little rest. There's a possum hanging from the tree by his tail. We've got a little wormy. We've got an echidna. There's a platypus. Oh, and there's a galah. Wow, look at this. This is a swimming hole. Now, there's a little girl swimming, and this little girl has just swung off the rope and is about to go splash into the swimming brook. And there we've got a princess and a prince, or a king and a queen. Beautiful kookaburras sitting in the old gum tree. I hope you'll join me for another story.